Hello, it's Martha Mikk back with a garden flower stake project. Very cute, done with recycled water bottles. You can use soda bottles, but they're heavier and a little tougher. So you see I have my water bottles here. And I have some floral wire, some chopsticks, I love chopsticks, a pair of scissors, some paint. I just have the primaries and white. A little water to wash things out with, a paper plate for our palette, and some brushes. Now, first thing I'm going to do is paint the stakes that are going to stick in the ground or your flower pots. And I use too much paint. I like to be conservative, but we can give them a good coating here. So that's simple. I'm using my, protecting my hands today, but you'll see I'll take my gloves off later. My hands are always a mess. Now we're going to denude the water bottle. Just take off that little wrapper and don't throw that cap away. It's very important. That's part of the flower. Very simple to cut this. Give it a snip with the scissors. I like to cut it a little long at the beginning. I can always trim it later. Now I'm going to divide this into 6 or 7 leaves. Cleaning it up there. Just cut it up. Cut all the way up as far as you can go to the little neck, and you're just cutting up, making the petals of this little flower. We're going to make a bunch of them. You can make, we're going to make 3. You can make a lot of these. They're fun, they're simple to do, they're very relaxing to work on. You could do this with kids. I'm painting the back of the flower because it's a clear plastic and light will shine through the acrylic paint, so I always paint the backs. You see it's the back because of the way the flower folds, and we're going to have a cap on that. So the back gets painted white, and now the front, that's the front of the flower, is still plastic, but you have the white paint on there. It's much easier to see what you're doing, so you can trim it up any way you want. You can make like 5 or 6 leaves, 7 leaves, or a bunch like this. And don't worry if you make a mistake. It's just a plastic water bottle. You've only wasted really a nickel. Try to recycle that. Now this one is an interesting one. I found a different water bottle, and it looked like they were preparing for us to make flowers out of it because it has this little petal design impressed on the water bottle. And can you see that there? It's pretty cool. So I cut along the lines that were printed for me or stamped for me, and now I like to fold it back, encourage that to go back, and now I'm cleaning up the edges. Of course, it is easier to see what you're doing when the back is painted. So I'm just playing there. I do a little cutting before I paint. I do a little cutting after I paint. I'm getting ready to make it colorful. We're still doing the white. That's an important step. You also might want to paint your caps if they're translucent, because, as I said, the light will shine through from the back and sort of obscure your design if you don't create some opacity. What I'm doing here is just trimming it up. Now I have 3 shapes, 3 slightly different ones, and now I'm going to paint. Now I slap on a layer real quick. Always going to need to do 2 layers at least of paint, letting things dry in between. So I'm going to sort of work with primaries. I've got red, it's like a yellow-orange color, and then I think I'll do a blue one as well. And just as I said, let it dry in between each layer. Here's my blue one. This one I added a little bit of red to the blue, give it a sort of a purpley blue color. And you don't have to be particularly neat because you're going to add layers and layers of color. Now here's my cap, and this is an important part. You see how that, obviously the cap goes on. That's how we're going to attach the flower to the little flower stake. I want to paint the inside of my flowers. This is the center of the flower, and I like to have some contrast here. So this one is going to be yellowish on my red flower. Now I go inside, paint the inside of it. Oh, I'm going to do this one. This is the orange one. I'm going to do this with some blue, little complementary colors there. And, you paint it and then you say, ooh, I don't know if I like that. Just paint over it. It's acrylic paint. Once it dries, you can paint right over it. And there's my blue one. What I'm doing here is attempting to give a little edge to my petals with that yellow so that it will stand out a little bit. We'll see how successful that is. I'm just showing you the technique if you choose to do that. So this is the relaxing part. This is where you relax with the paint. And if you don't want your hands to get all full of paint, wear those gloves. I always forget to put them on. So it's a process. So now what I've done here is inside of the cap, I've put little petals, not petals, what are they called? Pollen things, the stuff that we're breathing now outside. And I'm adding some detail here. You can do as much or as little as you like. And don't worry about precision. Things are not perfect in nature. They're not perfect in art either. Just have fun with this. I make it look easy. It will be easy for you. Just don't stress. Relax. So here are my 3 flowers, red, yellowish, and bluish. And now we're going to attach them to that chopstick with floral wire. Here's where the cap comes in. And I have let it dry on there, so that's not such a good idea, but I did get it off. The paint dried and it sort of stuck it, but I got it off. And now I'm wrapping my floral wire around the inside of the, I don't know what those things are, the threads. And put the cap back on. That holds the wire in place. Now I'm winding the floral wire around a chopstick. And this gives you a lot of flexibility. You can angle your flower up, down, sideways, any way you like. And I'm going to do that to the others. And now we have, look at that, out in my viola pots. I think they're cute. Thank you for watching. There are many crafts at the Patchogue-Medford Library. Stop by soon. Enjoy.